Hi, everyone. 2024 wasn't just another year at the movies. It was a battleground in which the story first principle of filmmaking was put to the test. And I'm not sure it won. Studios played it safe with sequels and familiar faces, while indie films and genre standouts quietly stole our hearts, but left the box office dollars in the hands of the big studios. Audiences showed up for spectacle but stayed for story. And somewhere between Inside Out 2's billion-dollar triumph and Megalopolis' unsurprising failure, the industry's cracks and its technological brilliance came into sharp focus. So grab your popcorn because we are about to break down the highs, the lows, and the surprising gems that made 2024 a year to remember in the film industry. While you're here, please take a moment to tell YouTube what you think by liking this video, subscribing, and hitting the notification bell so that you don't miss a thing. Thank you so much. So, 2024 definitely was a year. Hollywood leaned heavily on proven formulas. Technological innovations surged, and audiences began to redefine what they value in theatrical and streaming content. The year was shaped by dominant trends, from the continued reliance on sequels and established IPs to the rising popularity of immersive cinema experiences. Yet, cracks in the foundation began to show. Franchise fatigue became more evident. Mid-budget films struggled to find audiences, and rushed productions led to uneven results. On the brighter side, genre films flourished, indie gems emerged, and technological advancements opened new creative frontiers. With streaming platforms competing fiercely with theatrical releases, audience behavior continued to evolve, demanding more meaningful stories, authentic representation, and well rounded characters. As we reflect on the year, these are the key moments, successes, and challenges that defined cinematic storytelling in 2024 from the audience's perspective. Hollywood's reliance on sequels, remakes, and franchise films remained a defining trend in 2024, but the formula showed diminishing returns. While tentpoles like Deadpool and Wolverine and Inside Out performed exceptionally well, others faltered. Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, despite being part of a beloved universe, failed to generate the same buzz as Fury Road. Similarly, Joker, Folie à Deux, struggled to resonate with audiences, barely breaking even despite its star power and musical twist. At the same time, smaller films tied to franchise universes like Madam Web failed to connect with audiences, often suffering from underdeveloped plots and inconsistent marketing campaigns. Studios leaned on nostalgia and spectacle, but these efforts increasingly brought diminishing returns as audiences began to crave originality, stronger narratives over flashier set pieces and pointless characters who served more as decorations than story makers. The struggles of these high profile releases underscored an important point. Even recognizable IPs can no longer guarantee success if creativity takes a backseat to corporate strategy. Just because you build it doesn't mean people will come. Horror, science fiction, and animated films continued to deliver both financial successes and critical acclaim. Not to mention breathtaking technical effects. A Quiet Place, day one, impressed with its emotional depth and tension-filled storytelling, grossing 261 million on a modest budget of 67 million at the time that I'm recording this. Meanwhile, Dune Part 2 delivered sweeping visuals and masterful storytelling, which earned 710 million globally. However, animation dominated screens, with Inside Out becoming the highest grossing animated film of all time at 1.7 billion. These genre films not only delivered on spectacle, but also connected deeply with audiences, proving that emotional resonance remains a powerful box office driver, not just amazing effects. Smaller genre films also thrived. Horror films, in particular, had a consistent appeal with strong performances by titles like Longlegs, Never Let Go, and Heretic, which combined eerie marketing campaigns with a genuinely unsettling narrative. Meanwhile, animated films like The Wild Robot carved out their own futuristic niche with heartfelt storytelling and unique visuals appealing to both children and adults. These successes highlight the ability of genre films, regardless of budget, to find their audience through emotional connection, creative marketing, and compelling narratives. The box office showed promising signs of recovery in 2024, with North American revenues projected to hit 8.5 billion. However, this figure remains 24% below pre-pandemic levels and over 35% lower when adjusted for inflation. While blockbusters drew audiences back to theaters, mid-budget films continued to struggle. The convenience of streaming services like Netflix, Apple TV, Amazon Prime, and Disney Plus, combined with shortened theatrical windows, created less urgency for audiences to go watch films in the theaters, if they even were aware of those films being released. This shift disproportionately affected smaller films, many of which lacked the marketing muscle or theatrical presence needed to compete against tent-pole releases by these bigger studios. Additionally, the rise of hybrid release models, where films debuted on streaming platforms shortly after or simultaneously with their theatrical run, that just diluted the box office potential for many mid-budget projects and created confusion for viewers who generally assumed all films would show up in streaming within a couple of weeks from their theatrical release. So why go to the theater? Films like The Brutalist and Anora were critically acclaimed, but received limited theatrical runs and minimal marketing budgets, pushing them into niche awareness rather than mainstream success. This uneven recovery highlights a growing divide in the industry, where spectacle-driven blockbusters dominate the box office, while mid-budget and indie films are left to carve out smaller, more specialized audiences if they can find them. Despite its obvious problems, 2024 brought a collection of films and series that stood out for their storytelling, emotional depth, and the ability to engage audiences. Deadpool and Wolverine, with an incredible 94% Rotten Tomatoes score, delivered sharp humor and chaotic fun, becoming a highlight within the stumbling superhero genre. Twisters, with a 92% score, brought storm-chasing action to life with breathtaking visuals and exciting, if not terribly original, narrative. Inside Out 2 came in at 91% ratings, once again demonstrating Pixar's ability to weave humor, heart, and relatability into an animated masterpiece. Wicked enchanted audiences with grand musical numbers and dazzling visuals. Mufasa came in at the end with the Christmas release, and we'll have to see how that does with just 1 week to go before the end of the year. While the Penguin, Skeleton Crew, Agatha All Along, they all added fresh perspectives to their respective universes, balancing adventure and emotional storytelling. Across these titles, critical and audience acclaim really aligned, showing that creativity and story-first narratives remain at the core of cinematic success. Beyond these large-scale successes, indie films like The Substance stood out for their nuanced character studies and powerful storytelling. These smaller films demonstrated that Hollywood doesn't always need massive budgets or established IPs to deliver exceptional cinematic experiences, but they do need more marketing money. In a year dominated by sequels and franchises that brought about near suffocating cinematic fatigue, several unexpected gems emerged. The Wild Robot is one of my favorites. It's an animated family film with a modest marketing budget. Became a surprise hit thanks to its story and word of mouth buzz. Similarly, indie films, again, like Anora and the Nickel Boys, found success through festival acclaim and passionate niche audiences. Longlegs, a horror thriller, also became a viral sensation thanks to its creative guerrilla marketing campaigns, including cryptic phone numbers and interactive online ciphers. These films thrived not on a blockbuster budget or massive advertising campaigns like we saw with Deadpool and Wolverine or Megalopolis, but on authenticity, emotional resonance, and audience-driven enthusiasm. Their success raises an important question. How much further could these films have gone with larger marketing budgets and broader visibility? These hidden gems, they suggest that audiences are still eager for fresh narratives and unique experiences. And with better promotional support, these creative, off the beaten path films could have reached even greater heights at the box office. In short, 2024 was a year when lots of box office money was actually left on the table by studios. 2024 wasn't without its share of failures. Joker, Folie à Deux grossed what, 206 million on a $190 million budget, and it struggled with so many inconsistencies, leaving audiences very divided. Megalopolis brought in what, almost $14 million on a $120 million budget. And despite its stunning visuals, it alienated audiences with its dense, self-indulgent narrative. Meanwhile, Horizon, an American Saga Chapter 1 grossed maybe 11 million on a $100 million budget and faltered due to sluggish pacing and ineffective marketing campaigns. I barely knew this one was out before it was gone. And then on streaming, we have shows like The Acolyte, which just couldn't pick up the pace. It couldn't grab the audience, and it never saw the numbers that it needed for the insanely massive budget that it had. These failures highlight the danger of misaligned marketing, rushed production schedules, and overhyped promotional promises. When a film fails to meet audience expectations, negative word of mouth can rapidly stifle its potential for recovery, and negative hype is like algorithmic wildfire in social media nowadays. These results also emphasize that strong storytelling and clear audience targeting are essential, even for big budget productions. No, especially for big budget productions. Bean counters, beware. The imbalance between blockbuster franchises and original mid budget films continued to grow in 2024. Research suggests that if mid budget films received more robust marketing support, several could have cracked the year's top grossing list. Titles like I Saw the TV Glow, which I personally disliked but others loved, Conclave, and Thelma demonstrated that originality and strong creative direction still have an audience, even if their visibility remains limited. Hollywood's reliance on sequels and IP-driven projects continues to dominate theater schedules, but cracks in this strategy are becoming clearer, especially with remakes like The Crow and Nosferatu, which should have been safer bets. Viewer fatigue is settling in, and audiences are becoming increasingly vocal about their desire for fresh stories. If studios continue prioritizing financial safety over originality, they risk alienating the very audience they rely on to fill theater seats because audience wallets are growing tighter as wait times to streaming grow ever shorter. As 2024 comes to a close, the film industry stands at a crossroads, with story first media being the more challenging path. But the rewards, I think, are clearly worth it. While sequels and established IPs dominate the year, audience fatigue and box office disappointments require strategic realignment. Original stories, innovative marketing strategies, and focus on audience engagement are crucial moving forward, especially in the realm of social media, with anticipated film releases like Avatar 3, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, and Superman, as well as streaming series like Star Wars Andor and Game of Thrones' spin-off series, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, A Hedge Knight, on the horizon. We potentially see the final nail in the coffin for some huge IPs due to viewer fatigue. Now, you can always get around viewer fatigue with a really smart, well told story. That's the thing they really need to focus on. Clearly, in 2025, there promises to be another defining chapter in Hollywood's ongoing evolution. Will creativity and fresh storytelling take the lead, or will studios continue to play it safe? Only time and viewers' box office dollars will tell. So, what do you think of 2024's cinematic storytelling? Did Hollywood play it safe? Too safe? What did you think about this year? Or did you find a few surprises that reminded you why you love going to the movies? Were the indie standouts like Honora and the Brutalist and Wild Robot the real stars of 2024? Or did blockbusters like Dune Part 2 steal the spotlight for you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that button and give it a like and subscribe for more reviews and check out my other videos. Here's to another year of cinema, and I'll see you all in the next review. Thanks so much. Bye.